The river of Zulrath was always hungry. Its surface shimmered like polished obsidian, masking the ancient beast that lived in its depths, a croc the size of a wrecked ship, scales like armor, jaws rumored to crush boulders. For centuries, the Thalna tribe fed its sacrifices, believing its patience kept their village alive. And today, the sacrifice was Asha, known by everyone as the weakest girl of the tribe. She had never lifted a spear, never won a hunt, never even managed to carry water without tripping. To the tribe, she was a burden, soft-hearted, fragile, hopeless. The drums boomed. Warriors gripped her arms and dragged her toward the rocky ledge that hung over the dark river. Asha didn't scream. She had already run out of fear. She only whispered, "Please, I don't want to die." But the tribe chief, her uncle, didn't meet her eyes. Ritual was ritual. Fate was fate. Weakness was death. The warriors raised her. The river stirred. A massive shape glided beneath the surface, circles rippling outward like the heartbeat of the monster below. The villagers stepped back. Mothers held children close. Elders chanted. It was happening. The weakest was being cast away so the strong could survive. Asha closed her eyes as the warriors prepared to throw her. And then a shout tore through the jungle. "Stop!" Everyone turned. A stranger burst out of the underbrush, a tall, broad-shouldered human with mud-smeared skin, torn clothes, and a spear he'd clearly crafted himself. No tribal marks, no allegiance, no fear. A foreigner, an outsider, a madman. "What are you doing?" he roared, sprinting toward the ledge. The chief barked an order. Warriors raised their spears, but the stranger didn't slow down. The croc surged upward, jaws gaping like a canyon. The warriors released Asha. She fell. The beast lunged. And the stranger leapt onto the croc's back, driving his spear down with a roar that shook the riverbank. Asha hit the water, spiraling into the dark. The croc bellowed in fury. The world exploded into chaos. Asha's lungs filled with icy water as she plunged underwater. The river swallowed her whole, its current dragging her like a helpless leaf. She flailed, desperate for air, desperate for anything to hold. Then a hand seized her wrist. Strong, warm, steady. The stranger pulled her upward with shocking strength, kicking against the current until they burst through the surface. The croc thrashed beside them, its back rising like an obsidian hill as the warrior atop it fought with wild, impossible determination. The tribespeople watched from the ledge, stunned. No one had ever challenged the river beast. The idea itself was insanity. The human, later Asha would learn his name was Ryan, must have been carved from madness, or courage, or both. Ryan slammed his heel into the croc's spine, gripping a ridge of scales to stay mounted. With his other hand, he rammed his handmade spear deeper into the monster's flesh. The croc spun violently, its tail sweeping the water like a living battering ram. Spray exploded around them. Asha bobbed helplessly as Ryan swam to her again. "Stay behind me!" he shouted. "But why? Who are you?" she gasped. "Someone who doesn't throw girls to monsters," he growled. "Now move!" The croc dove, forcing Ryan underwater. Asha screamed his name. Strange that she felt terror for a man she'd never met. But he surfaced again, bloody but breathing, gripping the croc's jaw with both hands as he forced the monster's head away from her. He was fighting death itself, and somehow winning. On the ledge, the tribe murmured in disbelief. This was not how the ritual was meant to go. Outsiders didn't interfere. Outsiders didn't survive Zulrath's beast. Yet there he was. Asha, trembling, felt something surreal. Hope. The croc lunged again, this time for her. Its yellow eye locked onto her small, shivering form. "No!" Ryan snarled. With a final, desperate surge, he wrapped an arm around Asha's waist and dragged her toward a cluster of river rocks. The croc slammed into them from behind, cracking stone, sending them rolling into a shallow pool shielded by boulders. Asha coughed and gasped for breath as Ryan collapsed beside her, bleeding but alive. You saved me," she whispered. He met her eyes, breath ragged. "Of course I did." And for the first time in her life, someone had said those words to her. The tribe recovered Asha and Ryan by throwing ropes down the cliffside. Not out of mercy, but necessity. If the croc stayed alive, it would return. And if it returned angry, the whole village could fall. The tribal council convened immediately. Warriors dragged Ryan forward, binding his wrists, forcing him to his knees at the center of the camp. Asha was shoved aside, still dripping river water, hair clinging to her cheeks. The chief's voice thundered. "Outsider, you interfered with sacred law." Ryan spat blood to the ground. "Your law is murder. The sacrifice keeps the beast fed," the chief snapped. "Without it, the river punishes us." Asha stepped forward, trembling. "Uncle, please, he saved my life." "You should be thanking him." A murmur rippled through the tribe. The chief glared at her. "You were chosen because you are weak. A burden, a threat to balance." Asha lowered her head. The words had always crushed her, but today they felt strangely distant, as if something inside her had cracked open. Ryan looked at her, confusion in his eyes. "Weak? The girl who survived the river's pull? Who didn't break, even when everyone abandoned her?" He barked a bitter laugh. "If she's your weakest, your tribe must be blind." Gasps filled the air. The chief raised his staff to strike him, but Asha stepped between them. "Enough!" she cried. Everyone froze. Asha never raised her voice. Not to anyone, not ever. "I have done everything this tribe asked. I have carried water, cleaned huts, stitched wounds, gathered fruit. I have tried my whole life to be useful." Her voice shook, but it carried. "And still you threw me away." Even the wind went silent. Ryan watched her with a strange expression, like he was witnessing someone waking up. Asha continued, voice growing steadier. "Maybe I am weak, but no one deserves to die like that. And no one, no outsider. No stranger should have been the one to save me when my own tribe would not." The chief's jaw tightened. He raised his hand. "Silence her!" But before any warrior could move, a deep, thunderous roar shook the ground. The Croc had returned, and it was climbing onto the riverbank. Panic erupted instantly. Warriors scrambled for spears. Mothers pulled children into huts, and the chief barked frantic orders. But it didn't matter. The Croc was angry. And this time it wasn't hungry, it was hunting. Asha grabbed Ryan's arm. "We have to run!" He shook his head. "If we run, it'll destroy the whole tribe." She stared at him. "So what do we do?" Ryan looked toward the sacred pit where the tribe kept ceremonial. Weapons, blades carved from volcanic glass, said to pierce even a rhino's hide. He jerked his chin toward it. "We don't die," he said. "Not today." Asha blinked. "But I have never fought anything." Ryan squeezed her shoulder. "Then fight something for the first time." The Croc barreled through the first defensive line, tail sweeping warriors aside like dolls. It snapped its jaws around a shield, crushing it effortlessly. The chief's spear shattered against its snout. The tribe's strongest faltered. Ryan sprinted toward the ceremonial pit, cutting his bindings on a shard of obsidian. He tossed Asha a blade. She nearly dropped it. "Ryan, I can't." "Yes, you can. But I'm not weak," he said fiercely. "Not anymore." The Croc lunged at them. Asha screamed, but her legs moved before her mind could argue. She dove aside as the beast's jaws crashed down where she'd stood, its teeth burying into the earth. Ryan leapt onto its foreleg, driving his obsidian blade into the muscle. The Croc bellowed and whipped its tail, sending him flying into the dust. "Ryan!" Asha ran to him, but the Croc blocked her path. Her heart hammered. Her body shook. Her tribe watched her, waiting for her to break, to fail, to be the weakling they always believed. But something inside Asha ignited. Not strength. Not confidence. Something rawer. Refusal. She planted her feet, raised the obsidian blade with trembling hands, and faced the monster. "I won't die," she whispered. "Not this time." The Croc lunged. Asha dodged, not perfectly, not gracefully, but enough. She slashed wildly, her blade scraping across its jaw. The Croc recoiled, stunned. Ryan's voice rang out, "Asha, its throat! That's its weak spot." She swallowed hard. Then she charged. Asha sprinted toward the Croc, every muscle screaming, every instinct begging her to run the other way. But she didn't stop. For the first time in her life, she ran toward danger, toward the thing meant to kill her. The Croc reared back, jaws opening wide enough to crush her in one bite. Ryan shouted, "Now, Asha!" She slid beneath the beast's throat, mud scraping her back, river water stinging her eyes. The Croc snapped down, but too slow. Asha thrust her obsidian blade upward with both hands. burying it deep into the soft underside of its neck. The creature roared, a gurgling, furious sound. She held the blade as its massive body thrashed, tossing her like a leaf in a storm. Pain exploded across her arms, but she didn't let go. She pushed deeper, deeper, until hot blood poured over her fingers. "Asha!" Ryan sprinted to her, grabbing her before the Croc's collapse could crush her. They tumbled aside as the giant beast gave one final shudder. Then it fell. Still, dead. Silence swept across the tribe like a wind. Asha lay panting in the dirt, covered in mud and blood, shaking uncontrollably. Ryan knelt beside her. "You did it," he whispered, awe in his voice. "You killed it." She stared at her trembling hands, the same hands everyone had called useless, weak. But weakness didn't kill monsters. She had. The tribe slowly approached in stunned silence. The chief himself stared at her as if seeing her for the first time. One of the warriors whispered, "She saved us." Another murmured, "The weakest girl defeated the river beast." Asha rose unsteadily to her feet. "I didn't save you because you deserved it," she said quietly. "I saved you because I chose to." The chief bowed his head, an act unheard of. "Asha, forgive us. We were wrong." She didn't answer. Ryan stepped beside her. "So, what happens now?" Asha breathed deeply, looking toward the forest, toward a world far bigger than her tribe. "For once," she said, a small, fierce smile forming, "I decide my own fate." Ryan returned her smile. "Wherever you go, I'll walk with you." The tribe watched as the girl they had thrown away walked forward with her head high, no longer the weakest, no longer the sacrifice, no longer the abandoned. Asha, the girl who killed the river croc, stepped into her new life, and the world bowed to the girl they tried to discard.